Hello first learners, welcome to our PHP Fundamentals Session 1 review. Well, today we're going to have a few things to look at as we're too time conscious as for now. One, we're going to see how it really works under PHP syntax, that is how PHP is written, which kind of rules does it follow or fall, and then we shall have to look through the environment of PHP. What tools do we really need to have PHP to have our PHP done or coded? So literally we shall have another video to talk basically how it really works, the jargons of PHP, but for now we're going to just specifically look at these two, the syntax and setting a PHP environment. To start with PHP syntax. So when one talks about the syntax, what comes in our mind if someone talks about a syntax of a programming language, any programming language? It is just the rules, the form of that language, how that language is written. For example, in English, there are things that the rules that follow that, for example, a capital letter starts our name. That if I'm writing, let me say movie rule, so this will be literally be will violate the name, violate uh, the English rules because it's starting with a small letter. So according to the syntax of English, this would have been a capital M. Okay, so that is the same thing that follows in whenever they talk about syntax of a language. Now this is a syntax of PHP. Literally the syntax of PHP is as simple as this, that we just open what we do, we literally open this we open this the angle bracket, and then we use a question mark, we write PHP and then question mark, and then we close the angle bracket. So in here is where the code here. Okay, so this is the syntax. This is the syntax for HTML. But now today we are talking about PHP, and this is what we're literally looking at. Okay, having said that, the other thing which we can put in mind is the setting a PHP environment. So when we are to get started with PHP, there are literally a few things you have to have in mind, and one of them is a code. We could literally, so you need a code editor. That is one. Second, the second thing you will need, you will literally need to download. And in our first prompt, you'll be able to download VS Code, and after having these tools in place, after having the code editor and XAMPP, this will literally help us to get started with PHP. Okay, let's dive into this to see what happens. Okay, so to find out that you've really installed very well your XAMPP, when you go to your local disk C, I'll literally go and access C, local disk C. When you open local disk C, you will find a folder named XAMPP. So we enter it. So when you enter in this local in the XAMPP folder through the local disk C, go to XAMPP. I will request you to literally go down, scroll down, and find a folder that says, there's a folder here that says XAMPP control. So when you click in it, XAMPP control, it will take you to this XAMPP control panel. Let me hope we can all see the XAMPP control panel. Now, what do I want? Now, for my case, when you open yours, I believe you will see, if it's your first time to install XAMPP, in the column of service, there will be an X on Aperture and an X on MySQL. So you will click in that X of Aperture, and then a pop-up menu will come and say install. So please go ahead and install Aperture, and then also click in MySQL on the service where there is X. You do what? You still install that. So after installing, you'll be required to start them from here, because now mine are already started. So why have I taken you to XAMPP control manual panel? It's because when you don't have them installed in the first place, whenever you will have to code your PHP program, you will always have to come back to start them manually. Okay, but how, if you have done the step I've showed you, you will not literally need to come every time. Even if you closed your machine, you will not need to come and start your Apache and MySQL. Okay, so after having said that and noted, there's one thing. We go back to the local disk, to the XAMPP folder. So in the XAMPP folder, there is a very, 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 very key folder that we all need to understand. It is named as htdocs. htdocs is really very, very, very important, and I hope you can really focus on it. So htdocs is very important, because whatever one, let me mention this: every program in PHP we are going to be writing, we're going to be coding, will be saved in the htdocs. So the local server points to the htdocs. So when I open it, I go to the htdocs, which is found in, you go to local disk C. You go to, in local disk C, when you open, you look for XAMPP, go to XAMPP, open XAMPP, then you look for local, where am I? Forgive me, sorry, let me go back. I went to local disk C. I went to XAMPP. In XAMPP, I looked for htdocs. Open htdocs. So after opening htdocs, you'll find out there are a lot of folders and files. Okay, so what I would love to do is that I would love to have this folder really very clean and organized. The first thing I will do, I will literally highlight all these files and folders I've found there in the first place, and I will create a new folder. I'll create a new folder, and I'll name it, let me say, Oregano. So I'll highlight these folders, and I'll just deselect this original folder, the one I've created, and then I'll go ahead to cut and put them in original folder. I'll paste them in the original folder. So literally what I have now back in my htdocs, it's one folder that has all the original files and folders I have found there. So I'm doing this just to have my folder organized. However, you can still leave them to be there as messy as you found them. Okay, so having said that, the next thing I will do is that I will create another new folder, and this folder, maybe let me name it my first PHP website. Okay, my first PHP website. Enter. So in htdocs, I have only two folders there. I have a folder I have created called my first PHP website, and then another folder is Oregano. So mind you, you can name any folder any name you want. In our class session, I remember our lecturer named this class as day class, this folder as day class. You can go on and name it day class, anything, as long as it gives meaning to you. Okay, so with that being said, we are good with the XAMPP and the setup. A quick recap: I have said that after installing XAMPP very well, what you do, you go to your you go to you go to your local disk C, and then you look for a folder named XAMPP. It has to be there if you installed very well. When you open it, you look for a folder called HTML docs. However, now mine is a bit organized because what I did, the folders that I found, the folders and the files that I found in HT docs, I literally made them one folder and I placed them there and I named it original, so that my HT docs can look well organized. And then I went ahead and created another folder which is called, which I named my first PHP website. Okay, and this is what this is where I'm going to, whatever thing I'm going to be programming in PHP will be coming and saved here. Okay, so that being said, I'll continue to go now to open up my VS Code. So my VS Code is here. I will literally open it, VS Code, and I will have it opened. Then it has a welcome menu. I will just close it by clicking on the X. I close. So what do we do in this code editor? The first thing is to access my folder, which is my first PHP website. So what do? I go to File, click File, go to Open Folder. There's Open File and Open Folder. Go to Open Folder. Then already you know that your folder, the folder you're looking for, is in htdocs. So what I'll do, I'll go to this PC, then go to local disk C, then go to XAMPP, then go to htdocs, and then I would select my first website, then select folder. Boom. So having done that, there are some pop-up windows like, do you trust the author? Yes, I do trust author. There's this welcome menu that always comes. You can close it, and I close some. I have other extensions. So it shows here that I am in a folder named my first PHP website. Okay, yeah, so with this folder being opened, now I need to start coding. So to start up with PHP, I will come on this icon. When I hover on it, it says new file. Let me hope you can see it. It's saying new file. So I'll click on it and I'll start to write index dot, the extension when I'm going to do PHP will be .php. Okay, then I'll say enter. I'll click enter. So after clicking enter, I'll start writing my PHP code. However, I have showed you the syntax that we follow. This is the syntax that we follow when we're writing PHP. We open a tag question mark PHP, and then we shall close it with a question mark, and then the closing angle bracket. Okay, well, going back to my VS Code, I'll do literally what I've showed you. I'll open my angle bracket question mark PHP. I'll first close it so that I don't forget, and then so literally the other codes I'm going to write are going to be in the middle of these two tags. So let me say I want to echo hello 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 world, terminate. So one thing to ask yourself, how am I able to visualize what I have programmed? What you do, go straight to your browser. I'll use Chrome for my case. Then in your browser, I'll write there local host. Remember, local host, this is a server that pins to the htdocs. Okay, and when you press enter, it will take you direct to the htdocs folder, and inside there we had already two folders that we created originally. One was the original, where I placed all the folders, the files that I found in the XAMPP, and also the my first PHP website, which the folder that I really created. Now when I tap on my first PHP website, boom, we have Hello World, our first program. Okay, I hope this has been useful, has been of use to you. Thank you very much for following up to this far. In case of any question, in case of any inquiry, please comment down in the comment section, and I'll be glad to answer anything, and I'm ready to learn from everyone. Thank you very much. I love you.